Yes. Seenaa. Mama Igmatiko. I'm gonna miss you. Seenaa. Like, share, subscribe. The way they say on YouTube all the time.
You remind me of some other people who say that.
like,
subscribe. We don't have a lot of time. Maybe we can get started.
Yes, we can. Okay. Well, we have a special guest today, so let us introduce our special guest. Welcome.
Thank
So,
you.
Hashama Harkafune, Guyahana weekly press conference to Jaramdu, Tanawaji Dawachutu, Desena Jimjimo, and the fabulous Tissue Tea. Welcome. Um, I think is that your microphone? Can you hear us, T?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I guess we have to mute ourselves if we're not talking. I think he's on the phone. That's why. I figured.
Okay. It's echo.
The computer. I don't know why it's.
Okay, it's fine. So yes, welcome. So akadindenye chinataka ti ufana romotigona chinataka ufana gujenya akadinde akayada Kenya. We want to integrate ufana gujenya to our communities. Why tinuti rad banu irrahedu aka namni ufana romombene aka targeti Kenya is namakasi ta gujenya digefatu. We want to spread awareness amongst our non-Oromo community. So difamanogora yo isiniti jabate Mamiti odu hendu kamna to panorama bichasa nuran deminas hangaran desus no opsa galatoma. So today we want to talk about a few different things. We want to target topics like what's going on in Yemen, what's happening with this resolution, and so on. So I think maybe it's a lot of things that I'm seeing different communities do is giving a moment of silence to the lives lost in Yemen. So if you guys agree, maybe we can give them a moment of silence in respect to their lives being tragically lost. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just do 30 seconds moment of silence. Okay. Galatoma, it's tragic. One is today. It's our community's worst nightmare as Oromos. It's tragedy after tragedy, and to see so many, and to see virtually, so many lives be lost, just so simply. It saddens me, and I'm sure it saddens a lot of you watching and the people that are sitting here with me today. So let's start with just talking about what, like maybe T and Seenaa, you guys can share with us a little bit of what you guys know about the situation, and how can we support our brothers in Yemen, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, Seenaa.
Okay. I was wondering, is it me or is it T? You didn't say anything. First of all, to T, welcome for joining us. The Gifatota Kenya. Just FYI, akkuma beektanii, we've been getting namoonni baay'een nu dubbisaa jiranii warri Oromoon ta'in waa'ee Oromoo baruu barbaannaa garuu sagantaan keessan afaan Oromootiini. Kanaafiyyuu afaan Ingiliffaa godhuu qabdanii at least afaan Ingiliffaa segmentii yookiin immoo walakkaa godhuu qabdan jedhanii dhiibbatu jira. So asiin dura torbaan lama durallee kasiniin jedhe sagantaa keenya jijjiiruuf deemnaa kan jiru tokkotu jira. Sunillee still in progressiidha turre karabarra jira. Kanaafiyyuu maybe bakka garii bakka barbaachisaatti waa'ee resolution irratti afaan Oromootiin dubbannee jenna. The rest of the conversation kuwani Oromo audience waan barbaannuufi because wanni isinitti himnu kun already waan beektan wanni isin haaroo irraa bartan hin jirtu ko afaan Ingiliffaatiin goona jechuudha. Waa'ee Yemen irraa jalqabee jechuudha. So I'll just go from there. I think it's important that we give a summary in afaan Oromo and then focus the issue, targeted issues by Afan Oromo, and the rest should be in English because we have an audience of non-Oromos who are interested to understand what's going on, what we're trying to do, and support the cause, support the movement that we are doing. Because of that, I think moving forward, we really need to be focusing in English, universal language that people understand. With that in mind, I want to say again, T, thank you, and thanks for joining. We go back years, generation, and it's happy to have you. And then, unfortunately, Nadiya, you asked a very sad question, and we start this segment with a moment of silence about what happened in Yemen. I think our hearts sank. And what really upset me, I guess, let me just give a background a little bit on Yemen is that everybody know Yemen have been in a stable country, the Saudis, and basically the majorities, the minorities are fighting, and Saudi is keeping very much the minority in power. And what happened over the weekend was, from what I heard from people who are in Yemen, is there seemed to be some type of retaliation against the UN. This is very we're still trying to investigate. We are trying to write to letter to the UN. We are trying to write to IOM, people who are focused organization that focus on these refugee issues. Nevertheless, even whether it's that it's UN targeted for whatever reason, that is a refugee camp that was targeted. According to the IOM, that refugee camp holds about 700 people. According to Oromos, at least 450 or more Oromos were killed. Some number at the standard says 350. IOM say about 30 people were killed, and BBC say about 170 people were killed. So the number varies hugely, and these people are majority of Oromo because at this point there is no other ethnic group fleeing Ethiopia. The Tigray people are fleeing, but they are fleeing to Sudan, and the only other people fleeing Ethiopia, the current regime, is the Oromos, and they are the one. Majority of them are in Yemen, and unfortunately, majority of those people, based on the accent, are also happen to be Muslim. That tells me that if this killed were to be Christians, that today the world would go crazy. Many organizations would be like, oh my God, 330 Christian was murdered. But because they're a Muslim, that I feel like does have some kind of tone for the way the silence. And above all, what really kills me is two things, Nadiya, for me, and she can add on it, is that what kills me is two things. It's not even about the death of Oromo people, it's the silence that always follows the death of Oromo people. Yes, people die. Unfortunately, deaths have become so common ground in Ethiopia right now. We obviously condemn deaths. If that's committed by Oromo people, we condemn them. It doesn't matter who's committing the crime. It doesn't matter who's doing the raping. We condemn them equally, and they need to be accountable. They need to be held accountable for that tragedy, for what's happening in OLLAA, what's happening in so many parts of Oromia. We condemn them equally. But what really pains me the most is like, when any other ethnic group dies, oh my God, what happened? What happened to those so-called Ethiopians, Ethiopia first? How come they haven't said anything? What about Ethiopian government? The second thing that really pissed me off is that this many people died. What happened to silence from Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, from Ethiopian media agencies? What happened to the Ethiopian government? Where are their voice? This many citizens died in Yemen. Even Yemenis have fled Yemen because it's unsafe for anybody to be there. In Oromos, and I really do call on my people to stop going to these countries. Really, the same thing with the Saudis. We are individuals ourselves, are refugees in a different country. We can't really make a dent on what's going on. There's Oromo refugee issues in Yemen, in Libya, in Saudi, in Kenya, in Somalia, in South Africa. In every country, there is human rights crisis of against targeting Oromo people. It's like killing Oromo people is actually less than killing a dog. I feel like people will have more empathy. So I urge my people, and hopefully we'll do another segment on it. But on this particular one is that I'm very sad the lack of silence from medias in Ethiopian government and international community, and that really what breaks me more than the death of it. And obviously, my deepest condolence goes to the family, the friends, and everybody that kind of got cut in the middle fire. This is the fight between the two ethnic group in Yemen, and they wanted to make a statement. From what I heard, is they wanted to make a statement to UN that if UN does not back out, if UN does not give them a lot of money, that they're going to target the refugee, because that's where concentrated people, you can really kill them and nobody will kind of hold you accountable. Because as far as Ethiopia cares, Abiy himself is committing ethnic cleansing, genocide. Therefore, as far as he's concerned, if you kill about 500 Oromos, that's just 500 less of what he has to wear. I'll just stop it there.
Very true. Thank you, Seenaa. I think what you touched on that's important is that people are not speaking up. You know, human rights organizations, the communities, they're not speaking up, and it's true. The fact that it's not only just that they're Muslim, but it happened to a Muslim state. Tragedies that happen in Muslim areas, like Yemen, Syria, etc., they're dismissed in a sense. They're looked at like, oh, this is common or this is the norm for them, and it shouldn't be like that, because a life is a life, whether it be one, whether it be 450. So, T, I would like to hear what you have to say about this.
Thanks for having me today. Both of you have said what needs to be said. It's extremely not just sad, but horrifying activities almost all over the world against Oromos. My condolences to the families and friends that are affected, and to the entire nation of the Oromo people. This is extremely sad occurrence, and it's painful to watch. Not just because they're Oromos, because they're human. Why is this happening? Why are they in the first place in the position? That's because if you go back to Ethiopia, young people, which as everybody knows that most of the population in Ethiopia is the youth. Most of them are fleeing because they have no opportunities for jobs. They're being harassed. Their livelihood is being threatened. There's extrajudicial killings by the government force. I mean, this is a sanctioned killings. This is not just true for Ethiopians, but for Oromos in Ethiopia, but for other nations and nationalities within Ethiopia. So they're escaping, they're running away from a dire situation, and they put in themselves in a position in a harm's way. And this is very saddening, because they run into the same thing they're running away from. And then once it happens, you will expect other Ethiopians around the world, as we've seen in the past, when similar things happen in Saudi Arabia, everybody's Facebook profile changed to a candle and pray for Ethiopia and Ethiopians and things of such nature. But this is largely ignored. And the government, I might be wrong, but I haven't seen any statement that's being made. The ambassadors and other ambassadors in different countries have not said a word about, maybe I'm ignorant to what they have said, but I haven't heard anything. In general, all in all, is very disheartening, and more attention should be given to the situation. What's what's being done to prevent this from happening in the future. I have no idea from the government. I don't know if they care at all if these lives are lost because they are Oromo lives. And this is heartbreaking.
How do you think we can get this? Sorry to cut you off, but how do you think we can get more of our communities to shake up and really like not only get our like our Canadian, American, European government to speak up, but even the Ethiopian government. The fact that the Ethiopian government hasn't put out a statement. These are Ethiopians. They talk about one Ethiopia. This is just like we are one Ethiopia. So where is that one Ethiopia now that all these people have died and not even a simple statement, a simple sign of respect? Like how can we get that even just from our own Ethiopian government?
Before I go to that, before I even go to holding accountable, I want to point my finger towards the Oromo community, the Oromo diaspora community. What are our responsibilities? According to one of a very great coach that I work with, Coach Rafiq Hassan, a good brother that I work with, he tells me at night when you go home, can you look yourself in the mirror and say, I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've done what I can do. And some, as a Oromo community, have we done enough to advocate? Have we done enough to extend our helping hand? Have we done enough to mitigate the problem before it even gets to this point? I think the first people I would point at is to myself and to my community. Yeah. Have we done enough? And to the Ethiopian rhetoric, when we talk about this one Ethiopia and things like that, we've seen time and time again, that's not the case. The only time Oromo will be welcome is if you lose your identity, drop the name Oromo or the culture Oromo. And then if you identify yourself as Ethiopia, that's not Oromo, homogenized Oromo, then they will rally behind you and say, oh man, we're sad. But if you come as an Oromo and identify yourself as an Oromo, the support has been minimum or non-existent, to say the least. And I don't expect much from that camp, but I do expect a lot from our own community. And
Absolutely, I agree. I think we need, and sometimes it's not just protesting. Taking to the streets and yelling and screaming. Of course, these are things that we need in our communities, but we need more. We need more letters. We need to, demand meetings with, our officials so that they can pass along our messages that need to get taken to the higher ups. There needs to be some kind of, even if you're not going to do anything, recognize that lives were lost. Let's just start from the simple thing like that. And that recognition comes from, yes, the diaspora. We have to do better in creating that awareness. This would lead us into my next question, which I want Seenaa actually to answer, but if you could do it in the final moment, because it's something that we need to update our community in. So why resolution into Tigray Hanabahe? I would like for you to just tell us about it. Hanga Dinde say, just tell us a little bit about it and what Oromos can do in transition of, because it's not for Oromos. How can we be a part of that conversation?
Hi, that is a very good question. I want to I just want to add Can I say it is not the brutality of our enemy, it's the silence of our friend. What about those Oromos who support people who are in Ethiopia? Ethiopia is Oromo Tijiran. Hayyeme PP partiin kun Oromoof dhaabbata yookiin namaaf dhaabbata yoo jenne. What is the condemnation? What is the silence? Maaf dubbanne. Warri eessi galee yaa tokkummaa Itoophiyaa, tokkummaa Itoophiyaa. Tokkummaa Itoophiyaa Oromoo yoo duutu ilaalu. Moo only what Itoophiyaa yoo mallattoo Itoophiyaa taate warri Yemen jiru these are poor people ummata hiyyeessa. So si galee kana ajaa'ibsiisu Oromoo maqaa Oromoof jedha. An Oromoodha. Tokkummaa Itoophiyaa deeggara jedha. Oromoo yoo duutu Oromoo yoo duutu hin dubbannu. Oromoo yoo hidhamu hin dubbannu. Sabni biraa yoo hidhamu Oromoo nama fixe miti, Oromoon bineensaa miti. So kan ajaa'ibsanii ati gaafii ati kaasee irratti gaafii warra resolutionaa jimaata bahee sanat resolutionaa yaada mataa uummata Oromoo keessa jiru yeroo kana keessatti miidiyaa adda addaatti illee tuqamee kan jiru jechuudha. Kan illee xiqqoo miidiyaa irratti dhufee dubbadhee jira. First of all jalqabuma kana irratti carraa kanaan fayyadamee dubbachuu barbaannu. Galgala kana community leaderii yaamnee jirra. Oromoo global community, Oromoo community charii kan inni wajji dalagna because nama mara wajji dalaguu waan hin dandeenyeef waan jiru. Waan jimaata dabre amma warra Amnesty Human Rights Watchin State Department keessaallee nama hariiroo qabu directly osoo hin ta'in nama directly hariiroo qabu kaleellee ammoo warruma resolution katabe wajjin illee back and forth emailii argannee jira jechuudha. Kana jechuun maal isiniif fakkaata namni keenya ka beekuu qabdu ka beekuu qabdanii I'm pretty sure sammuu kun wanni kun sammuu keessa ni jira jedhee yaala because Oromoon waggaa tokkoof wayii oli waa'ee resolution kanatti dhiibbaa ture. Resolution ofiisni resolution kana baase Oktoobarii bara 2019 irraa jalqabnee resolution achi taa'aa ture. Resolution kanu dhiibbaa ture jechuudha. Warra kana hin beekan waan Oromiyaa keessa jiru yeroo kamiyyuu olitti Oromoon rakkoon isaa dhagahamee jira. Garuu dhagahamiinsi suni translate ta'eetiin publicly bahuu dadhabee jire. Kanarratti isin maal godhuu dandeettanii nuti hoo maal godhaa jirra ka jedhuuf akka guddaa kaasirratti hin dubbanne galgala sa'aatii 9 Eastern Time wargeennee jenna community keessan dhaqqaba akkamitti akka hirmaachuu barbaaddanii hirmaachuu yoo feetanii maaltu ta'aa jira maal godhuu dandeenya akka jedhu at the end of the day resolution bahee akkuma agartan exclusively waa'ee naannoo Tigraay irratti focus godhee jira. Okay, Oromoon du'aa jirti. Oromoon hidhaa keessa jirti. Oromoon mirgi isaa sarbamaa jira. Maaliif addunyaan maaliif keessattuu Ameerikaan yeroo nuti akkanatti halkanii guyyaa dalagnu nu qofaa miti ollaa miti advocacy hedduudha. Isiniyyuu mataan keessa from Ohio to Arizona to Portland to Canada agartee jirti. Everywhere Oromoon yeroo kamiyyuu olitti mootummaa addunyaa kan dubbisaa jira. Nevertheless focusing gara qofa ta'e maaf ta'e kan jiru bal'innaanii galgala kana haasofnee jenna. Garuu carraa kanarratti qaama Naadiyaa kana gaafatti kan hin dubbadhuuf qabxiin gargariin inclusive naannoo Tigraay qofa otoo hin ta'in jira. Garuu gubbaa irratti fookasiin jira exclusiveedha. Kanaafiyyuu rumii jijjiirraadhaa fi carraan hin jira jedhanii so we are talking back and forth with them. Hin jijjiiranii ka jedhu suni ka biraatti galgala diteelii haasofnee jenna. Garuu resolution kun kan namni Oromoo xiqqoo akka ollatti ka godhaa jiru kan hin beeku. Halkanii guyyaa warra kana wajjin haasawutti jira. Warra kana dubbachuutti jira. Warra kana ibsu jira. Wanti nu godhuu dandeenyu barsiisuudha harki qabnee micciiree godhuun xiqqoon ulfaata because at the end of the day uummata Itoophiyaa yookiin uummata Oromoo bakka bu'eeti miti mootummaan kun jiru. Mootummaan kun uummata Ameerikaa bakka bu'ee jira. Uummata Ameerikaa kanatti ammoo nuti akka uummata baqataa tokkotti citizen biyya kanaallee yoo taatu dhimmi nu ilaalu dhimma Itoophiyaatti isa foreign issueudha waa'ee biyya Ameerikaatti walitti hidhatuuti miti. San keessaa dabree ammoo rakkoon Oromoo irratti deemaa jiruuf rakkoon naannoo Tigraay irratti deemaa jiru. Tokko ta'uu dhabuu namni keenya illee amanuu qaba namni keenya fudhachuu qabna. Kan Tigraay irratti deemu duguuggaa sanyiidha ethnic cleansing argaa jirtan viidiyoo as bahaa jiru. So the more viidiyoo kan arganii uummanni shaak ta'eetiin bara 1990 keessa 95 keessa Ruwaandaa sanyiin akka hedduu duugamee otoo Ameerikaan dubbate. Kanaafiyyuu wanti jarri godhaa jirtu yeroo kanatti first of all just stop the war, stop the killing, du'iitii dhaabisuu Eertiraa biyya keessa baasuudha. So kanaaf kanarratti fookasiin jedha kan jedhanii rakkoon Oromoo irra deemaa jiru dhibbaan dhibbatti argaa jirra ni jira. Biyyi suni akka durii sanii filannoo bilisaa filannoo fair and free election ingotii ka jedhu obviously shakkii keessa jira namni martinuu dhiibutti jira. Amma garuu rakkoo irratti ta'ee jedhee at least kan mootummaa Ameerikaa kan akka jedhanii the first thing in yoo rakkoo yeroo baay'ee dubbadhee rakkoo Oromoo chronic and acute dha. Rakkoon Oromoo chronic is ongoing for so long it's not like halkanii tokko waan furamuu danda'u miti balaa waggaati hedduuti. Rakkoon amma Tigraay irratti jiru immoo it's like acute akka waan ibiddi si muree albeensi murtee yookiin ibidda. You have to stop it. Daddafanii san dhaabuu barbaade. Ammoo naannoo Tigraay duguugga fannoon Amaaraatii fi milishaan naannoo Amaaraa waraana Itoophiyaa alattiyyuu akkasumas Tigorri Asmaraa walitti ta'eetiin duguugga sanyii godhaa jira. Gudeeduutti jira. Mana gubuutti jira. Mana amantaa gubuutti jira. Nama ajjeesuutti jira. Kana dhaabuu barbaadan kun ammoo immediately action waan ta'e kana miidiyaa irratti arganii so they want to first and foremost stop the war. stop the killing, stop the genocide, stop Abiyyi Asmara keessa baasu warra Amaaraa. Yeroo kamiyyuu olitti Amaarri amma olaaltee jirti Google goote Amaarri Google sadiidhaanii faannoo Amaara milishaas Amaara uummata guutuu otoo hin ta'in Amaara milishaas kanaa wajjin walitti hidhatamanii kijibaan akka nu yeroo maqaa balleessan otoo hin ta'in qabatamaanii seeraaf ICC criminal courtiif dhiyaachuu deeman Abiyyi walitti akkasumas Eertiraa walitti kan jedhu. So resolution kun qabee galgala bal'inaanii maaltu deemaa jira kan hin jedhu wanni asirratti hin dubbanne wal tokko galgala kan sa'a 9 Eastern irratti jechuudha. Community keessanii wanna kana yoo dhagahuu baate asirraa dhageettanii jirtanii community leaderii keessan gaafadhaa maaltu jira nutti himaa haa jedhanii because we are gonna talk to them waan haasa'aa hariiroo qabna. Kan galgallee advocacy adda addaan haasaa qabna. Advocacy kana qofa miti gareen baallee kora Afrikaallee advocate godhaa jirutu jira. Waa'ee especially filannoo dhufuu kanarratti walitti hidhatee filannoo kana hin ta'uuni gahaa miti. Akkamitti discredit goonaa filannoon kun itti fufee jira because Abiyyi what he need is legitimacy. Legitimacy kana ammoo namni fe'ee yaadu is gonna go forward. Namni qoqqooduu dandeenyu delegitimize election kana godhuuf jechuudha. So anyway qabxii ammaatti jette Nadiyaa in dheeressee jedhee resolution kun focusing isa naannoo Tigraay irratti. Sababaan isaa ammoo sababaa genocide sababaa ethnic cleansing achirratti deemaa jiruu fi uummanni Itoophiyaa uummanni addunyaa waan san argu cadhisuun isaa ani raajinatti cadhisuun akkamitti we have to condemn by all means sigalee warra deemaa jiru garuu of course wanna Oromiyaa keessatti hafuun isaa cadhisuun isaa kanarratti maal godhuu qabna maal godhuu dandeenya kan jedhu san galgala bal'inaan itti deebina. Asmarratti dhiisee jira Nadiya and actually I have to leave in a very short minute so.
Well, actually, we'll just end it there because we, like Seenaa said, there's duty calls, I guess we would say. So Galatoma to know
you guys can finish at 3 minutes with tea, and I think I still have 3 minutes. I think maybe tea can add anything. We still have 3 minutes, so
yeah, go for it, tea.
Yeah, I have something to add. I got a lot of things to add, but a couple of them that I want to mention is one, to condemn what's happening in Tigray, to the people of Tigray. You just need to be human. It doesn't require to be any race or any nationality to be able to condemn that. And actually, to be able to condemn the actions that are happening to the Oromo people, you should be able to do that for the people of Tigray. Or you should be able to do that for other people from different areas. This is just crime against humanity and has to be called out. Now, one of the things that really worries me is the fact that this is, in my opinion, a premeditated action. In 2018, when Abiy Ahmed went to Asmara to sign that peace treaty with the Asmara Isaias Afwerki, I think that is the time when the plan was made to destroy the entire race from this earth. And it's very disheartening to see when a government of a country allies with another government of a different country to attack his own people. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That is very dangerous route to take. Extremely dangerous. And that's one of the biggest characteristics that differentiates what's happening in Tigray and what has been happening in Oromia. Like Seenaa said, ours is a very chronic issue, been going on for many, many, many years. When this thing happened in 2020, one of the biggest things that people weren't paying attention to was since 2018 did not stop in OLLAA and Guji. The killing has continued. So our problem is chronic. However, if we are condemning what's happening in Oromia, we should also be doing the same thing in what's happening in Tigray, or if it's happening anywhere in Ethiopia or even elsewhere in the world, because that's crime against humanity, and we shouldn't tolerate that. Nobody should tolerate that. The international community should not be silent, and I'm glad the news is being picked up, but action has to be taken by the international community, and the Ethiopian government has to stop Stop now. That's my message. Thank you.
Thank you, T. Powerful, very powerful. So we would just, I think, so we'll just conclude there. Galatoma Tenojanju Sena had to leave, so she's not here for our goodbye. But Galatomi T, hopefully we can have you here more often. Your passion, your every time you speak, it always hits the soul. So Galatomi for sharing your thoughts with us today. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Nadiya, and another great person in my life tells me all the time, behind the scene work, when nobody's looking. What are we doing? What are we doing behind the scene? Are we doing the things to aid our people, to aid to take away sufferings? Are we doing enough behind the scene to contribute to the struggle? And I challenge all of you viewers and our viewers, now that I'm planning on to be coming back again. Are you doing enough behind the scene? Are you doing enough when nobody's looking? Are you putting enough so that we can reap the benefits in the near future? Thank you, Nadiya, for your dedication and what you've been doing with this program. And thanks for having me. And I hope to come back again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It's a good way to leave on. It's a good question to ask our people. I hope that really resonates with the people watching. Maybe you can say in the Ofana Romo one time for the Ofana Romo listeners, because it's a question that we have to continuously ask ourselves to get to where we need to go to as Oromos.
Afaan Oromootiin waan baay'een waan hojjetamu irra jiru, waan namoonni adda addaa iyyaafannee akka nu gargaaraniif kan goonu waan baay'ee jira. Garuu kan isaanii dhiisne, kan mootummaa Itoophiyaas dhiisne, kan mootummaa biyya lafaas dhiisne, nuuni akka Oromootti maal gochaa jirra? Isa nuuni ifatti goonu duwwaatu hin ta'ini, namni tu nun argin maal hojjechaa jirra? Maal irratti jirra? Wanta kana gargaaruudhaafi maal gochaa jirra? Isa nama argutu hin ta'ini, tu namni hin argin xalaa meeqa barreessaa jirra? Nama meeqa taasisaa jirra? Waraqata meeqa barreessaa jirra? Nama meeqatti himaa jirra? Maallaqa meeqa kennaa jirra? Organizaashinii meeqa deeggaraa jirra? Yeroo keenya kenninee hojii ammamaa hojjechaa jirra isa jedhu of haa gaafannu. Galgala yookiin galgala ta'uu amma reefu amma yoo ta'e foddaa miti mirror agartuu muraayaadha. The first time I hear that word. Muraayaa fuuldura dhaabbattee of ilaaltu hin dandeessaa, of ilaaltee ani waan gochuu danda'u hundumaa gochaan jira jechuu ni dandeessaa. Kana akka hojii manaatti isin ilaadha. Ofii keessan of ilaaltanii ani wallaansoo kana keessatti waan anarraa eegamu hundumaa gochaan jira yookiin gochuudhaafi tattaaffii gochaan jira yaalaan jira jettanii inni gootu taanaan ana dabalatee jechuudha. Kan inni goona taanaani wallaansoon keenya gara fuulduraatti nutti hin dheeratus nuttis hin jabaatu jedha. Nadiya galatoomii waan hojjechaa jirtuu fi waan kana boodas hojjettuuf galatoomii isin jechuun fedha. Naaf yeroo keetti baay'ee galatoomii.
Galatoomii jechuu. Akka guyyuu jennu torbaanti dhuftu hojjetu nu hojjetaa. I hope to see you again next week, T, if you can join us. Viewers, please come back and join us again. Torbaanti dhuftu walitti deebina. Until then, have a good day, evening, night, whatever you're in. Bye.